You should Google the Camaro, then the Afro, then the Euro. Anything for that green. It's a scam. It's a scheme.
Does it irritate you guys to see these artists in that mindset? Especially, when you go out and you probably deal with a lot of them and you see how they act. Do you ever try to educate them to any degree? Or what is your response to the way that they kind of conduct themselves? Because I'm sure you've seen it firsthand,
I never look at artists outside of the context of the people. Like, sometimes people see themselves like they separate, you know what I mean? But I see it like you straight from what everybody else is from. And I understand why you acting how you acting. And you know what I mean? Like, based off our conditions. And I would never let myself be used to attack an artist, you know what I mean, when I know the root, you know what I mean, of what's going on. I'm happy for artists that's just not selling crack, you know what I mean, like just making a living, you know what I mean. I'm happy, like, how real shit be, to attack artists is like, you off, to me, where I'm from. So like, I don't get irritated, man. I be happy. I be like, yeah, we doing it, and I get inspired. People always try to pit us against who they feel is we opposite of or whatever. They'll say Soulja Boy or 50 Cent or whoever, like, so that we can be the mouthpiece of some kind of beef or a battle like that. But I done learned a lot from 50 Cent, good and bad, but I learned.
And could you give anything particularly? Because I'm sure people would be interested in knowing, like, what has Stickman really learned from 50? I mean, so, opposite ends of the spectrum, so, sort of, some ways.
Yeah, well, I was just, I'll start with this, like, 50's rise to prominence, was a people's movement in terms of the mixtape game and how he came in the game with just flooding the streets. You know what I mean? That was inspirational, and that's something that people can use, and that was leadership. That was, that was a hustler. He was showing that. I read 50's writer. He do books and he talks about business in general. So I learned from those aspects of what he's able to accomplish. From Soulja Boy, his song Swag, I Turn My Swag On. Like, how real is that? That's a young brother that's saying, I don't know why they hating on me. All I did was get this money, you know what I mean? So I got to just turn my swag on. I gotta be confident regardless. And I relate to that sentiment, even though on a different kind of thing. But sometimes the haters, is you trying to do what you do, you just got to turn your swag on, So
would you because you guys, I mean, you're very reflective. You see artists, kind of the big picture as you were talking about. Would you be open to work with somebody who may be viewed as somebody totally different than you are? Would you work with a Soulja Boy? Would you work with a 50? Could you see him collabo?
People have given us a hell of a criticism for doing the song with Jay-Z. And like I still hear it all the time. There's these hip hop backpack purists who say, "Oh man, that's funny because I came in here wearing a backpack." But I just, you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
The particular kind of box they put people in that says that's just totally against, But I think then those people don't live in the same world that I live in. I think they live in this really prefabricated world about MC, and that's the world that allows people to lie in their records and never have any kind of retribution because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's like one of the sins. You know what I'm saying? Like, to not live what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't respect an artist who doesn't do that. And I mean, I can respect a good song by artists who don't do that. That's play. That's good work. But I'm talking about if I really want to buy you and enjoy you and be a fan of you, like, you almost got to be exactly who you're saying that you are. That helps me be who I am. You know what I'm saying? When that happens. So, with that being said, it has a total effect on how I view music right now. You know what I'm saying?
So does that mean that you partially would be open as long as this person is living what they put out there? Does that open you guys up? I mean, Soulja Boy maybe really is turning the swag on.
I think what we have in common with people like Soulja Boy is that who come from an oppressed community who wants to get out of oppression by any means necessary. A lot of people use, the same way with Jay-Z. I mean, we both from Brooklyn. We both are dealing with Amadou Diallo.
Right.
We both are dealing with the Haitians and the Jamaicans. We both dealing with police whooping. I mean, no matter what, I don't care where he's gone today. His family and my family endure the same kind of circumstances. Same as Soulja Boy. And so that's the things that we have in common that I think we have to focus on, instead of the things that people want to say, oh, nah, because he said, smack a bitch, or, he talk about selling dope in his raps, you know what I'm saying? But there's too many other places that we stand in solidarity.
Okay.
So,
So you just find the likeness out of all the whole picture.
I mean, you can't be down with the police, you know what I'm saying? You can't be down with the police.
And that's where we draw the draw the goddamn line somewhere here.
So if they having up with the police, then you might not be a good look for you guys.
It's not even might not. That's against our code.
Well, absolutely, definitely.
Okay, so that's your limit. That's basically
Well, there's a few limits, you know what I'm saying?
What are these other limits? Just so people have an idea.
It don't even really, it don't come like that, cause it's like.
It just depends on each artist, kind of what they're offering.
Where they coming from. Like, look at Pac. You know what I mean? Pac will slap a bitch in a minute. You know what I mean? And then Dear Mama. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can't never judge a person for expressing themselves.
They're complex, basically.
Yeah.
Complex people.
And we are too. Like, we ain't for the box. Like, we didn't come to fit in the box.
Right.
You know what I mean? We came to make a paper airplane out the box.
Right.
You know?
Change it up. Now, I have to ask you this question partly because there's so many like you've guys been saying, people want to put you in a box. They want to kind of say, well, this is who you are, this is what you're bringing, this is how your music is. How do you feel about the word, or I guess you can say the phrase of an underground artist or underground music? Do you think that there's a stigma with that word? Because I've heard you guys been described as such. And do you embrace something like that, or is that like that's not what how do you feel about that whole terminology in reference to you guys?
This is what you talking about is a war of words. You talking about propaganda, and we being MCs, we stand in an acute place that we could take a phenomenon, right, and redefine it. So I realize how the industry itself basically markets you in different boxes, genres, to control you, to be able to mass market you, make it real simple for people to copy, and then you create a big, it's easier to sell things in a package, so to speak. So but when we talk about underground artists, right, versus let's say mainstream,
right.
See, let's look at those terms defined in a different way. If mainstream means most of the people, the mainstream, right, of the world, then most of the people, in fact, in the upper 90% of the people is struggling. Most of the people ain't got no Bentley. Most of the people ain't got none of the stuff that they say is mainstream, right? So we've always felt like we the mainstream. We the most mainstream rappers on the planet. For real. As far as underground, I guess I wanted to be associated with that term because it limits you like we above ground, underground, over the ground. You know what I mean? Everywhere.
Flying.
You know what I'm saying?
Swimming on
so that's real, and they'll limit you, and you have young people that embrace these terms that's created by the industry. Just like the medical industry tell you need to eat. The companies who support the medical industry tell you need to eat 2-3 servings of meat, protein, and all this stuff because the dairy and the meat industry paid for them to say that. That's not because it's true. It's the same with underground or whatever. These are terms that they want you to identify with so they can keep you locked into that channel.